Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Monday Night Raw review for the uh, 22nd of March 2021. I don't know. There are going to be people that say this was a good show. I will say that they are building WrestleMania to be something that isn't bad based on the top matches. I'm not necessarily a fan of it being two nights. I'm also not a fan of nine nights in a row of WWE programming. But with the pandemic and trying to be safe, maybe, just maybe, uh, there's good news to be had with things kind of getting back on track for Mania, and then we kind of turn the corner a little bit. But anyway, show recap. I actually have a match to start pretty quickly. Lashley with MVP defeats Sheamus in 11 and a half minutes. Back and forth match. Sheamus becomes distracted by Alexander and Benjamin on the outside. Lashley sends him out of the ring. Alexander distracts referee. And Benjamin clotheslines him. And Lashley clotheslines Sheamus, that is. Lashley feigns that he doesn't know why they're there. Alexander and Benjamin cheer him on, and MVP obviously also approves. He's confused by this. He remains in control. It's a power slam for 2 count. Alexander tries giving some encouragement. Lashley told him to step down from the apron, so Lashley's trying to show some signs of wanting to be independent. Maybe anyway, Sheamus uses distraction, mounts comeback. He takes several shots at me answering my phone, apparently. We will be right back with more Raw review. So anyway, Sheamus mounts a relatively weak looking and rather predictable comeback. Alexander distracts the referee. And basically Sheamus hits a flying clothesline. Sheamus hits another one and hits a knee strike for near fall. Sheamus sets up the brogue kick, becomes distracted by Alexander. Lashley hits a spine buster, applies the hurt lock for the submission win. So what was the point of building up Sheamus to challenge for the championship if you're just going to have him get defeated pretty soundly by the champion the night after the pay-per-view? Oh, yeah, because we have no advanced thought. Anyway, so... And Alexander Benjamin attacks Sheamus after the match. Lashley continues to look on in confusion. McIntyre comes out, fights off Alexander and Benjamin. He dares Benjamin to continue the fight, but he backs off. McIntyre confronts Lashley in the ring. MVP holds Lashley back. MVP wants Lashley to wait until Mania. And McIntyre begs for him to take a swing. And Lashley eventually leaves. I mean, it's good to see Raw start with a match. Maybe somebody in creative figured out that, I don't know, starting with promos week after week after week makes wrestling appear more predictable and fake than ever before. But at the same time, is this the match you really want to start with? But then you don't build your talent in layers, so it really doesn't matter who you throw in there unless you're building towards something big like Mania, SummerSlam, or the Rumble. So I understand the logic behind doing it when segment by segment you really don't care. Anyway, let's see. So McIntyre confronts Lashley, or confronted him in the ring. Phillips plugs Randy Orton would call out The Fiend later, and he basically said they would show what The Fiend looks like now. So, anyway, Lashley tells Alexander and Benjamin that he didn't need his help, and MVP told them that they have tarnished the image of Lashley by making it seem like he couldn't beat Sheamus alone. He called it an embarrassment, and he also said it was an embarrassment they lost the tag titles and didn't reflect well on Lashley, and he wanted to know what they'd do to make up for it. Video package of the Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton trash with the Fiends returned last night. And Raw Women's Champion Asuka against Peyton Royce in 11 minutes 11 seconds. Good gosh, why? This needed to be like 4 minutes tops. So they almost tripled the length it should have been. They aired a clip of Royce on Raw Talk doing a promo during her entrance. Why she doesn't get a promo here, we don't know. Royce gets more than her average amount of offense, and it looks like she needs to go back to training school. It looks weak. It looks disjointed. I'm sure she's talented, but she hasn't been put in this role, and it shows up to now. Anyway, Asuka mounts a comeback, and I mean, ultimately gets 2 count after German suplex in a Shining Wizard. Royce manages to block a back fist, which is one of the better things she does in the match. Hits a Widow's Peak for near fall. Asuka ducks a kick and hits the Codebreaker for a near fall of her own. Royce uses a double foot stomp off the top to Asuka's back for near fall. Asuka applies an armbar and transitions into the Asuka lock for submission. Announcers put over the effort of Royce. I guess they're going to push her. I don't think this is a good idea. Why it took Asuka more than 10 minutes to beat this person is mainly because they don't know how to book in layers, and so they have competitive matches where they don't belong and squash matches where they don't belong. Anyway, Rhea Ripley enters as Asuka celebrates. Ripley calls Asuka one of the greatest women's champions of all time. Asuka appears impressed by this. Ripley called Charlotte challenging Asuka to a title match. Asuka is the one on the shelf after getting her teeth knocked out. Ripley said Charlotte wasn't here now because she was recovering from COVID. Can't believe they mentioned COVID on television. Ripley wanted an answer. She challenged Asuka for a title match at WrestleMania. Asuka said Ripley was not ready and then accepts the match. So if she's not ready, why did you accept? Oh yeah, because we can't say, I don't think you're ready, so I'll kick your tail, because that would make sense. We say you're not ready and I'll accept anyway. Anyhow, Adam Pearce approaches McIntyre in the back and talked to Sheamus before. Pearce notified McIntyre that Benjamin and Alexander challenged them to a handicap match. Pearce notes that this might not be a good idea. Close to Mania, McIntyre accepts under the stipulations that if he won, Alexander and Benjamin would be banned from ringside at Mania. Pearce accepts. And this is the end of the first hour. Good news is there's more wrestling than normal. Bad news is a lot of the wrestling doesn't make sense. Asuka and Ripley for the title is announced for Mania. Miz TV. Miz said that he doesn't want to be laughed at and mocked by Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. Well, then maybe he should be relevant. Miz and Morrison put over the success of Bad Bunny. Miz said he didn't belong here. I agree. It's one thing to do a performance, but he's been hanging out in the locker room. And in fact, according to Miz, this shouldn't be allowed. Miz called himself a 2-time Grand Slam champion. I don't think this is accurate. Maybe it is, who knows. Anyway, because championships don't matter anymore. Morrison notes that John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Undertaker couldn't say the same. That's because the booking has turned to trash. Miz goes on about how he and Morrison don't get enough respect. Maybe they should earn it. Well, at least Miz anyway. They showed a WrestleMania poster that excludes the two of them, but does include Bad Bunny because WWE thinks he's some sort of star. Miz reached a breaking point last week, and Miz basically attacks Bad Bunny. Miz and Morrison have a new music video dedicated to Bad Bunny that will debut next week. Miz challenges Bad Bunny to a match at Mania, and Miz threatens to end his career. What career? Anyway, Miz defeats Jeff Hardy in 420. Before the match, Hardy says we know that Morrison will get involved, and he suggests he go to the back. Morrison, basically like a whipped puppy, leaves on command. Miz wins the match clean after sending Hardy into the post and hits the skull-crushing finale. So I guess this means that they don't really care about Jeff Hardy either. Bad Bunny smashed a guitar over the back of the Miz after this, and yeah, I don't know. Bad Bunny grabs the mic and says, "I accept your challenge," and swears at him. This is pointless. AJ and Omos and New Day cut a promo on each other. AJ and Omos come out. They basically said that they would bury the New Day at WrestleMania. They were full of cockiness and said that they wouldn't lose. New Day interrupts. Xavier Woods thought it's funny. Styles wanted to bury them in holes. Considering the Boneyard match of last year, Kofi Kingston calls Styles a wee little man, which is funny. And they warned Omos that he can lose the match if Styles gets pinned. New Day questions how close they really are. New Day asks Styles a few questions, only to reveal that Styles didn't know Omos' favorite color, or his ice cream flavor, or his all-time favorite wrestler, which they answered all of these. Styles demands Kingston get in the ring so he could beat him up. Styles says AJ rocks and swivels his hips, and Woods demand they go to commercial. They announced Bischoff for the Hall of Fame. Good for him. Raw Tag Team Champion Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods defeats AJ Styles in just under 14 minutes. Good gosh, this match felt long, but at least it was good. Competitive match all the way around. Styles sends Kingston into the steel steps, almost stepped in Woods' way from getting involved, which leads to a commercial break because we don't know how to time match endings. Kingston mounts a comeback and goes for Trouble in Paradise. Styles caught him in the middle in midair, hits an enziguri. Kingston fought Styles off, fight him to the top rope, and then hits a splash to the back for a near fall. Styles applies calf crusher. Kingston gets a rope break. Styles kicks out of a cradle and hits a low drop kick in the process. Styles sets up phenomenal forearm. Woods blows his trombone, which causes Styles to trip for a second, and Styles goes for the forearm again. Kingston countered into the SOS for the pinfall win. As a match, standalone, this is fine. The angle's clunky, but I've seen worse. Kevin Patrick asked why Sheamus would accept a match against Lashley after what happened last night, and Sheamus said that he was, that's who he was. He's not going to back down from a fight, and asked about McIntyre helping him. Sheamus says it's about respect. Riddle interrupts by coming into the frame on his scooter. This scooter thing is just stupid. Sheamus asks him if it's easy to ride and acted interested in Riddle's answer. Riddle goes on and Sheamus hit him in the gut with the scooter. And Riddle is in pain and asks, was it something I said? And this is stupid. Going to the third hour, 2-on-1 handicap match. McIntyre defeats Benjamin and Cedric Alexander in 13:06. Not sure why this needs to go this long. Oh, yeah, because we have long matches, because we have a 3-hour show, because we're greedy. McIntyre's in control. Sets Benjamin up for the Claymore. Alexander pulls his partner out of trouble. McIntyre goes after Benjamin, tosses him around before tossing him back into the ring. Alexander blind tags him in cheap shots. McIntyre, and they chuck McIntyre into the barricade. They go to the commercial break. Hurt Business is in control. After the break, McIntyre comes back with a headbutt into Benjamin. McIntyre hits Alexander with a clothesline and a bunch of suplexes before giving Benjamin a future shock DDT. McIntyre hits a neck breaker and gives Benjamin a Claymore kick. So we basically have squashed the former tag champs. Good job. Anyway, McIntyre nails another Claymore kick on Alexander for the win. So they're banned from ringside at that WrestleMania. MVP yells at Benjamin and Alexander in the back. Lashley comes in, shoves Benjamin. He says he couldn't get the job done and said he would find someone who can. Lashley walks into the locker room and he said that if any of them took out McIntyre before Mania, he'd give them a title shot. Interesting step. Anyway, so Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, the women's tag team champions, with Reginald, defeat Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose in 2 3/4 minutes. Naomi and Lana on commentary. This is a really dumb idea. Replay of Nia Jax taking Reginald shopping. Rose gets in Reginald's face and he does a flip to show off to Jax before he leaves the ring. Naomi and the announcers are baffled by all of this, as is anyone watching. Reginald does another flip on the apron, and Jax hits a Samoa drop. Pinfall wins. Stupid match. Anyway, Alexa Bliss is on the swing set in the back. She let Orton know she's still in his life, and so is he. Bliss says, be careful what you wish for. Shane McMahon and Elias do a segment. Elias basically comes out with Riker and Shane. Shane's leg is completely wrapped up, and he uses a crutch. Shane basically said that he would have wiped the floor with Strowman if not for his injury, and he planned on beating a stuttering Braun. When he healed, Shane said Elias didn't help him the way he wanted. Elias is going to defend him, but Shane told him not to interrupt ever again, and Elias shuts up and shuts down. Strowman interrupts and waits until all the talking is finished. Strowman didn't care if Shane had an injury or any other issue. He's still coming after him, and he had a song about Elias and the man who got these hands. Video of The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. This is a really dumb idea. Why do you want to compare this to Hogan and Rock when you're talking about people like, I don't know, The Miz and a 42, 43-year-old Jeff Hardy on your show? Really, really bad idea. Anyway, Strowman defeats Elias, and with McMahon and Riker, 307. This is stupid. Strowman basically runs around the ring, runs over Riker and Elias. Shane hits Strowman in the back with a crutch. He no-sells it. Strowman goes after Shane, who runs away, revealing his leg was never injured. Strowman challenged him to a match at Mania. Shane smiles, accepted. He said he'd do whatever Strowman wanted, and he'd win because Strowman's stupid. They announced some matches and dates for WrestleMania. Saturday the 10th of April, Lashley and McIntyre, Banks and Belair, and Miz and Bad Bunny. Sunday the 11th, Reigns and Edge, Asuka and Ripley. And anyway, the final segment of the show, Orton enters wearing a hoodie and shorts, so he doesn't even bring his gear. He said to be over tonight with The Fiend and for Bliss. Tonight they'd finally end all the, well, he swears. Bliss appears on stage, holding a Jack-in-the-Box toy. A Fiend puppet pops out. Lights go out. Fiend appears behind Orton. Orton grabs a gas can that he'd brought with him to the ring. Apparently, security didn't stop him from doing this, so they're okay with attempted homicide. Fiend stands still. Orton begins dousing with the gas. Orton grabs a match, but before he could do anything, Fiend takes a step toward him. Orton lays him out with an RKO. Bliss enters the ring, stares down at Orton. As the Fiend gets up, Fiend puts away Orton with the mandible claw, hits him with a Sister Abigail. Bliss giggles and dances around. She points to the WrestleMania sign as flames go on around them. Announcers let us know that this makes the match official somehow. Samoa Joe and says it's happening on Sunday. Apparently they knew this because one of them used to belong to the Psychic Friends Network and passed it through each other's headsets. Bliss kneels in front of the Fiend, and then the show goes off the air. This is utter garbage from a storyline standpoint. There's good wrestling sometimes, but for the most part, Raw is trash. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.